Hi, I'm back. In my hand, I have a jar of ashes. I promise you nobody was hurt in the making of these ashes. They came out of my fireplace. In April of 2013, my mother, my Jeep, and my dog all died within 3 weeks of each other. None were really expected. Maybe a week's notice with Mom and the dog. I was feeling bereft. That's a lot of losses that compound each other. When I took the dog to the vet and had him put to sleep because he was dying of liver failure, the vet sensed my mood and said, "Would you like me to have this dog cremated and have the ashes returned to you?" And I mumbled something like, yes. Probably I blubbered something like, yes, and said goodbye to my dog. And went home and bought my Subaru because it was dependable. So within 10 days, a package arrives, and if you've ever lost an animal and had it returned to you with a cremains, there's this little card in there about the Rainbow Bridge, and that was all very nice and comforting, and I put the ashes somewhere for a little bit. And I kept thinking, that's my dog. I read somewhere that ashes make good fertilizer. And in the front area of the parsonage, there was a really scraggly climbing rose. It would climb and it would bloom. But because I wasn't good at pruning, it was really long and lanky and didn't have good flowers. They smelled good. So I took a spade and I took my canister of the doggy's ashes and I dug up a hole around the bottom of the roses. And I said a prayer. And I put those ashes around the rose roots. And let it go. By summer, those roses started growing and blooming, and they really took off, and they really filled out. And there were gobs of blooms on that bush, more so than had ever been since I had been there. When I hear of ashes being the end, something is reduced to ashes, I remember that great love I had for my dog. I remember his ashes. I remember that rose bush. And I realize that ashes can be used as fertilizer. Ashes or total destruction of something and what's left of that can be used to sprout new growth. In this time of Lent, we're all looking for new growth, and we are trusting that it happens. In my life, there have been great moments of destruction when all I have had left have been the ashes. And yet, great growth has come even of those situations. May that be so with you also. Remember that God loves you more than you can imagine. Bye.